Hello and welcome to the Guarneri podcast. This is episode 21. So, today I want to talk about another Celtic practice. This one is called Ancestor Veneration. It's a practice that involves honoring and um, connecting with one's ancestors. There's been an increased interest in ancestors with the advent of sites like ancestry.com and DNA tests you could do at home. There's been a big uptick in interest in people's ancestries. So, ancestor veneration, which I only heard about through my studying of the Celtic culture, um, actually has been a part of many cultures throughout history and is actually now gaining some recognition um, for its potential mental health benefits. So I've used it. I think it helps. I enjoy doing it, which is why I keep doing it. But I found it a great tool for healing and even personal growth. There are some benefits we can obtain by acknowledging and honoring our ancestors. And these are a list of the benefits: a greater sense of connection to our roots and a deeper understanding of ourselves. Well, that goes back to however many days ago when I was talking about building that solid base, that solid foundation to build upon. And part of that was understanding ourselves. Another benefit is it can help strengthen our sense of identity and provide a source of guidance and support. Big, big, big benefit. Another one is to help us overcome feelings of isolation and disconnect. So just go back a few short years to the COVID pandemic. It was, people weren't able to communicate with each other as well. It was or not in person at least. Everything was online and still haven't fully recovered back to in-person meetings and whatnot yet. But even now, if you're still feeling isolation and disconnect, kind of connecting with your ancestors kind of gives you that firm ground, who you are, what you're about, hopefully where you're going. Now, when I say ancestor veneration, I don't mean necessarily direct bloodline ancestors. Any group of people who you think are important to you or important to your ancestry as a descendant, you can venerate them. You can venerate a culture you come from. Some people advocate for venerating all the ancestors in the world. So, so there's a lot there. Don't say, "Oh, well, you know, my ancestors were, real losers. I don't want to venerate them." Somewhere along the line, going down back to history, in memoriam, there are ancestors that you want to venerate, and you don't have to know them by name. God, no. You just have to venerate their existence and know that, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be here now. And getting back to it doesn't necessarily have to be a direct blood relative. Any other blood relative is fine. A while back, I interviewed a gentleman named Ben Stimson. Stimson. He's an ancestor veneration expert, and he said not to think of a family tree, not to think in those terms, but instead to think in terms of a family web. And if we think about that, that makes a lot of sense. By the way, if you want to watch my interview with Ben, it was a really great interview, if I don't say so myself. I will leave the link to that in the description. So, what exactly is ancestor veneration? How do you do it? Well, it can take many different forms, simple rituals, like lighting a candle or putting out flowers at a gravesite or on some sort of altar or whatever. It's a personal thing. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Um, and there can be more elaborate, um, ceremonies and celebrations. It all depends. You do what's comfortable. You do what's right for you. But, doing something is important. So here is a list of some things you can do if you want to get started with ancestor veneration. You can research your ancestry. You can create an ancestor's altar. Go back a few podcasts, however many podcasts I discussed altars and also researching ancestry, come to think of it. You could just offer prayers or thanks to the ancestors. Like I said, you wouldn't be here without them. You could celebrate ancestral holidays, and that's one I like a lot. Say you come from a particular culture. I'm just going to use Celtic because that's easy for me. I have ancestry into the Celtic cultures. Well, maybe I'll start celebrating, the holidays that they celebrated. Like the Wheel of the Year. They celebrated Imbolc, which was a couple of days ago, 5 days ago. Maybe I should too. Know what they experienced and what they felt. It's a great way to get a connection, to better know who you are, which is all going to help you on your way to better mental health. It's definitely a powerful tool, and not even just in mental health, but also for personal growth. Um, I should also mention too that I guess about 6 months ago, Ben Stimson, who I mentioned earlier, he came out with a book about ancestor veneration. I will also link that in the description below in case you're interested. So until tomorrow, stay well.